Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And when I saw this watch, I did a double take because I have never seen a Richard Mille RM023 with this dial. It's almost as though someone decided they wanted to take a 23, which normally has highly stylized numerals in a metallic rayon fashion, so they're splayed out from the center and they expand to the chapter ring. And instead, they had their 23, which is almost exactly the same size and shape as a 5, reconfigured to look like a 5. So outboard, we have this composite ring in white with individual indices and a second layer of sapphire underneath the primary with these lacquered on numerals. So a very unusual look, and this has recent service records, having been serviced through Richard Mille USA and one of their factory boutiques. So I'm not saying this is piece unique, but go online and try to find another one that looks like this. You're going to fail. So if you want something that's very much like an RM5, but with this unusual white and blue aesthetic, this is a watch that has a lot of individuality. And like I said, the measurements are almost exactly the same as the RM5. The 5 came out in 2004. The 23 came out in 2009, and it was originally billed as Richard Mille's first unisex watch, which is an odd thing because the case is literally the same size, almost down to the fraction of a millimeter compared to a 5. So this is 37.8 millimeters across in white gold. It's 12 millimeters thick, and it's 45.1 lug-to-lug. Check out my reviews of the 5, and you'll find they are identical. Now, the watch on the wrist is easy to wear. These are smaller than the 10s. And so far and board of the edge of my wrist, you could wear this on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. So while the aesthetic has changed with the different dial layout, it is still very much a unisex option. While it does not look thin, it is thin. 12 millimeters is thinner than a Daytona, and a Daytona is a thin watch. You can see over the top, which exaggerates the width of the watch. Across my wrist, the lugs are still well within the boundary of my wrist. And because this is an RM tonneau and they all wear nicely, it has that curvature to the back of the case that fits beautifully on the wrist. Here's something I've never seen on the series production RMs. I've seen this on a RM5301 Pablo McDonough, but that's $1 million watch. You've got a factory textile and Velcro strap. The nice thing about Velcro is within the range of the adhesive pad, you have infinite adjustability because you're not constrained by perforations and a pin. You also see that we've got a loop style buckle, so you really do have infinite adjustability within the range of the Velcro. On the back, we have conventional leather, and then we have this blue stitched, almost sky blue textile on the top with a very light contrasting stitching. It's a cool look and plays beautifully with the white details of the dial. We have what they call an alacrin shroud to the crown. I call it rubber. And then a white gold case. And the white gold models aren't as common. You can see a combination of polish and satin. And it has a weight that's unusual for an RM watch because you're not really used to seeing them or feeling them in precious metals. So many of them are some sort of composite or titanium. This is actually a little bit hefty, and it's satisfying. You can see the distinctive tonneau case shape is here. If you want iconic, this is RM iconic. You've got the spline screws on the dial side of the bezel, and then the hollows through which they transit to the case back. The crown has a sort of conical profile that's kind of cool and minimalist and unbranded, which I think is neat, and that is characteristic of the 23s. We have a combination of polish and satin for a nice contrasting medley, and you can see that the crystal is both shaped, and it's shaped to match the non-round dial, but also the contour of the case. A very difficult thing to make water resistant, and these were rated water resistant to 50 meters. Taking a look, it is a push-down crown, so I don't recommend you actually swim with it, but you've got plenty of luminescence on the dial side. You can see that we've got luminescent hour and minute hands, as well as the individual indices for the hours on the composite white track outboard. And again, this is an unusual dial for a 23. It looks like the 5 or its big brother, the 10. It doesn't look like the somewhat polarizing standard 23 with those metallized, radially splayed numerals. This is a good look. Underneath, you've got a grayscale movement. This is the RM023 caliber, more on that in a moment. You can see little details have been sweated, like the use of a cup jewel and capstone on the balance staff. that is a clear sapphire rather than a synthetic ruby, so you keep the grayscale tone of the dial aesthetic. Now, we do have hacking seconds, and you can see right there we do have a date. There is a quick set for the date, so you can rapidly cycle that. There's a skeletonized disc that moves all the way around the dial. Taking a look at the back, you can see this is a Vaucher-based movement, and there's really no secret about that. RM's always been open about parts suppliers, so for example, Valgine made the case, Valgine's V is on the case. Vaucher made the movement, and Vaucher's star is on the base plate. The movement's made of titanium. It's automatic winding. It's got twin barrels for a nice flat torque peak. So for the 55 hours it's running, it's going to be very consistent, thanks to the two-phased mainsprings. We also have these variable geometry white gold wings on the rotor that can be set to change the turning force or moment of the rotor, depending on your level of activity. That can be set when it goes back to Richard Mille. We got a 4 hertz beat right here. It's a 32 joule movement. It's 5-position adjusted, which is the high horology standard. And as you could see, it's partially skeletonized. While it is Vaucher-based, the fact that it's made of titanium, highly skeletonized, highly styled, means it's extensively customized for this Richard Mille application. Don't mistake it for an off-the-shelf piece. And then you can see it's anchored with little shock absorbers to the corners of the case, and that the case back is satin finished. Lots to love. And again, a 55-hour twin-barrel automatic winding power reserve. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.